This bike is the current 2009 Trac Spinner V. A few bikes back we talked about the Trac V bike, which Trac built to compete with Johhny G when Johhny G was with Schwinn, making the Schwinn Johhny G Spinner Pro. The Trac V bike, there are 4 generations of Trac V bikes. There's the original V bike with the non-perma-weighted flywheel, which you should probably stay away from because they're typically really, really old and really shot out, and the flywheels produce no inertia. So when Johhny G separated from Schwinn and he took spinning to Trac, they abandoned their non-perma-weighted flywheel immediately, and that was called the Trac V-Bike version 2. And the V-Bike version 2, they integrated a perma-weighted flywheel into it, and suddenly when they integrated the perma-weighted flywheel into the Spinner V-Bike version 2, it suddenly became more popular. The version 2.5, which they made, and that's kind of my name for that generation of bike. What dictates a 2.5 is perma-weighted flywheel, and they also integrated the Trac proprietary bottom bracket into the bike. They abandoned the standard Shimano UN52, UN72 cartridge type bottom bracket with a smaller spindle. Trac developed their own bottom bracket with a giant spindle, although it's still tapered and it will still break if you don't keep the crank arms tight. They held out with the V-Bike to put the proprietary oversized spindle bottom bracket into that model last. So original V-Bike version 2 with the perma-weighted flywheel, version 2.5, which is basically this bike with the blue plastic with the oversized bottom bracket. And then for 2009, they integrated the Spinner name into the V-Bike title to make it more friendly for spinning facilities. It's now called the Trac Spinner V. And this is the best V-Bike that they've ever produced. It has tighter tolerances in the towers and the sliding mechanisms. In terms of bikes available for petite women and taller guys, there's the Le Mans Revmaster with a non-perma-weighted flywheel, whisper quiet but no aggressive inertia. And then there's the Trac Spinner V, which has the fore and aft. It has the oversized bottom bracket, micro-adjustable everywhere. The V-Bike doesn't use holes and pins. They're sliding mechanisms with pinch plates. So the tower height in the seat and in the handlebar, infinitely adjustable, and the sliding mechanism back and forth in the handlebar is infinitely adjustable. There's literally hundreds of combinations to set this bike up. The V-Bike also has a click mechanism in the resistance, which from an instructor's point of view, and I've taught thousands of spinning classes, it's never really been an issue for me, but I know some instructors wish that they had this on bikes because it's a click mechanism. When you're teaching a class, you can say, add a couple clicks, add a couple clicks. So that's kind of nice. Dual bottle cages on the sides. Plastic chain guard, actually injection molded plastic chain guard, no rust here, no rust here. These bikes run anywhere from $900 to $1,200. The only downside to buying this bike is it doesn't come with a clip-in pedal. You can add a clip-in pedal, any clip-in pedal you want, and you've got a complete package here. One thing about commercial bikes, and jumping around a little bit, but this is a huge important dynamic. If you buy a brand new commercial bike online, it doesn't matter what website, but if you buy a brand new bike in the box, it's going to come to you. The last person to touch that bike was the guy or girl in Taiwan who's putting it in the box and taping up the box. So in essence, what you're buying from that website is a box. It's going to come to your house, you're going to take the bike out of the box, you're going to put the screws in the holes, and you're going to make them tight. It's no different from buying an end table from IKEA. Pull it out of the box, put the screws in the hole, make it tight. Typically when you do that, you get a bike that looks good, works okay, but is never optimal. Studio Cycles is the only place you can buy a bike, brand new bike, in the box. It's been pulled out of the box, professionally built, professionally tuned, taken back apart. Everything associated with the reassembly process is prepped to make it easier for you, and then it's carefully packaged back in the box. And our packaging is 100 times more indestructible than the factory packaging. So if you want a professionally tuned, professionally built bike out of the box, studiocycles.com. 2009 Trac Spinner Pro. This is the current generation of the Spinner Pro Series bikes from Trac. In terms of the best bang for the buck, this bike is it, and here's the reason why. In the past, the Pro, which in the food chain is here, then the Elite, then their flagship bike, whether it's Schwinn or Trac. For 2009, they took two of the most redeeming qualities from the NXT and the Elite, and they trickle it down to the Pro for 2009. And those two things are the bottle cages integrated into the handlebars and the pedal upgrade. So for an entry-level commercial bike, this bike has everything. The only thing that this doesn't have that the Elite has is the Smart Release, and they've kept the price relative to the 07, 08 Pro. They've also made this bike much, much easier to assemble in terms of base hardware. You have 2 screws holding the front base, 2 screws holding the back base. They've made the holes closer together in the tower so you get a little bit more range of adjustment. And they've redesigned the fender for a little bit more coverage on sweat protection. For a commercial bike, for $900 to $1,100, it's hard to find a better bike than this bike here. If it's tuned and adjusted correctly, this bike is probably the easiest bike to put together and one of the easiest bikes to own. 2009 Trac Spinner Elite. This bike runs $1,300 online in the box from the big websites. This bike has the Smart Release, the new improved Trac Smart Release, which is not lubricant sensitive. And what that means is that if you lubricate the chain conventionally, it's not going to contaminate or compromise the clutch's ability to put a load on the clutch. Smart Release means that when you're riding the bike, if you stop pedaling, the flywheel will disengage from the drivetrain and come to a stop independently in a few seconds from the drivetrain, so that you don't take a pedal in the back of the leg, or you don't break an ankle or rip a muscle. Smart Release is great for facilities that have a single bike on their floor in their cardio section. It really cuts down on the liability in a commercial setting. The 09 Spinner Elite also has the integrated bottle cages. It has the SPD bomb-proof basket pedal that Wellgo builds for spinning.com. In my experience, and I've installed thousands and thousands and thousands of pedals. Typically, a commercial spinner, or a commercial indoor bike rather, with a clip-in pedal, the pedal lasts for anywhere from 6 months to 12 to 14 months on rare occasions. This is the best pedal on the market. If you're looking for a pedal for your bike and you use an SPD cleat, get the spinning SPD basket pedal. This pedal lasts in a home setting for years. In a commercial setting, I've seen this pedal last for up to 3-4 years. So that's the best pedal on the market, and it's on the Spinner Elite. I sell this bike on my website. I like this bike so much that I include a lifetime warranty, and I'll replace the parts on the bike for as long as you own the bike for free. studiocycles.com.